الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين والصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. أما بعد فأوصيكم بتقوى الله فإنه حبل متين وعروة وثقى. صلوات. Dear brothers and sisters in Iman, first of all I advise myself for taqwa, parhezgari and piety, and then I advise all of you for the same. We are in the days of Imam Hassan al-Askari alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. We have two, matter of fact, three riwayat, three different narrations about his birthday, and the two very famous one are the 8th of this month or 10th of this month. In Iran, Iraq, Lebanon, and in certain other places, they celebrate the birth of 11th Imam on 8th, while in India, Pakistan, and certain other places, they celebrate the Wiladat of 11th Imam on 10th. 2 days difference. And this is very common when it comes to these dates of Wiladat or Shahadat of A'imma or the people of that early history. As I have mentioned many times, that it was not custom in those times to record the dates, because at that time this was non-issue. This was not any important issue to record the date of these wiladats or shahadats, because there was no concept of these celebrations or commemorations or having the kind of majlis or mehfil or milad, or meaning these things started much later. And that is one of the reasons that we have different dates about the wiladats or shahadats of many of the individuals like A'imma or other companions and other leaders. But we at BaitulIlm celebrate that milad every year on 8th of Rabi'athThani. And we are still in those days of Wiladat of Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. I thought that I should say a few words about this 11th Imam, who, although every Imam was important in his own account, and being the Imam, being the representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we make no difference among our A'imma, but 11th Imam was the last Imam in the sense that he was the last Imam who led and guided the community in person or being zahir, living in the community. And then After him, the 12th Imam, when his Imamat begins, it begins with Ghaibat. Ghaibat-e-Sughra, of course, and then later on the Ghaibat-e-Kubra. So as Amirul Mu'mineen is the first one where Imamat begins, the 11th Imam is the one that the Imamat doesn't end there, but at least we use a term when scholars talk about it. They say this is the era of Hudur, Hudur, the presence, when Imam is present in community or in society in a way that people can have directly access to him. People can go and see him, people can go and talk to him. That era ended by the Shahadat of 11th Imam. 12th Imam, when his Imamat started, it started with Ghaibat, it remained, the absence or the Ghaibat remained about 69 years. And then, of course, the major occultation, the Ghaibat-e-Kubra started. So he had a very important role, which was the winding up of one phase, bringing it to some conclusion, and making sure that the process which almost from the 9th Imam had started, 9th and 10th, and then now it was his time. So these three generations or three Imams had set the stage for Ghaibat. And they had prepared the community and the followers for this day. And by establishing a larger network of Wokala, A'imma alayhimu salatu wassalam, were having the Wokala even earlier, but from the time of Imam Muhammad Taqi alayhi salatu wassalam, this system of Wokala, representatives, was started with a plan, and then it was established, and by the 11th Imam it was fine-tuned, and it came to a level where now if Imam goes in Ghaibat, so this community can survive with this new system of Niyabat and Vikalat. So that is the major contribution of 11th Imam, that he made sure within 6 years, his era of his Imamat is only 6 years. He was martyred at the age 28 or 29. Altogether, he lived for 28 or 29 years, out of which he had 6 years of Imamat. Within 6 years, basically his major job, his major duty is to fine-tune that system of Vikalat and Niyabat and train his Shias and those scholars particularly to function in a discipline, in a system, in an organized way, that if Imam is not around, this community doesn't go in chaos, this community doesn't get into the confusions, and this community can stand up and stand firm and then continue. And Alhamdulillah, as you see, it was a major thing, because our community, it is founded on this concept of Imamat. We are known as Imamis or Imamiyah. And our structure is built on that concept, that after the Prophet, there is Imam, and the community depends on Imam, and it all functions around Imam. And all of a sudden you see that the center of the community and the main pillar and the foundation of this community disappears, and Alhamdulillah, community remains there and continues and survives. It's not less than a miracle that this community, which is Imami, which has always imam to refer to, and now all of a sudden they don't have imam. And this was one of the reasons that we had some of those very young imams at the age 5 and 6 and 8. So those were tests of this community, which Allah tested them, that they had to believe in imam that who was only 7 or 6 or 8, almost 2 or 3 times. And now they have imam who is only 5 years old and who is also in ghaibat, in occultation. But that was our history, my brothers and sisters. And the good job done by our ai that they raised their community and trained the community in such a nice way that its community was prepared, and they worked with it in a very organized manner. And then what happens? This era of minor occultation, which was only for 69 years, then starts the era of major occultation. And almost now, as you know, that 1200 years have passed, this community has grown and grown further and has got established more and more, despite the fact that Imam alayhi salatu wasalam is not amongst us in Zahir, where we can just go and refer to him. And this system of Wikalat, Niyabat of Imam, which later on got the name of this Marja'iyat, was able to hold up this community together while we were being pushed and pulled by all forces, and particularly the tyrant and very strong governments and those cruel leaders and rulers. And there were so many confusions and so many difficult times came. But these fuqaha, these ulama, these maraje taqleed, they kept this community together and on the track. And alhamdulillah, today, as we all see, that Shias all over the world, no matter where, if they are in Africa, or they are in Australia, or they are in America, or they are in Europe, or they are in Asia, or wherever they are, Shias, they look for their guidance to Najaf, to Qom, to their fuqaha, to their maraje taqleed, to those senior ulama and scholars when it comes to their religious guidance and also on their issues in the community. So that is a system which was established by our A'imma alayhimu salatu wassalam, and it was finally fine-tuned by our 11th Imam. It's one of the legacy of our Imam Hassan al-Askari alayhi salatu wassalam. Recite a salam. Very quickly, I will share with you one hadith of 11th Imam, and then inshallah we will conclude the khutbah. My brothers and sisters, many times, many of us, we are human beings and we are social animals, and we are all in need of company, friends, associates. And as our childhood, as you know, that little children, they want the children to play with. And it is very important for their healthy growth that they play around, they play with other children of their own age. And otherwise, they develop so many issues and problems which come later in their life. So having other children and playing with them, spending time with them is important. And this is how this school also came in existence. In past, there was a time when children were taught at home. and either their own parents would teach them whatever they knew, or some uncle or grandfather or grandmother or aunt or somebody would teach them at home. And if some people wanted the higher education and better education, then they would hire a tutor, a teacher to come at their home and teach their child. And this is how people were being taught. But as humanity have grown and people realized that it's not only the education which children need, they need a certain environment. They need a group of other people of their own age. And as they need to learn the language and other skills and the information, they need to also learn the social skills. They need to learn how to communicate with one another and how to work in groups and how to work together and how to act and react in that young age. And so that is this idea of the schooling started. And then later, so many people, they make their friends in their school. You know, children don't go to school just because they are very much eager to go and sit in the class of math or science. But early in the morning, they get ready and they are excited, they want to go to the school. Why they want to go to the school? Because they see their friends there. They are looking forward to see their friends. They want to go and hang around with them. They want to go and play with them. They want to go and share some ideas with them. They bought something new, the new device, the new something. They want to show their kid friends. They want to brag. They want to show. They want to, meaning share with other classmates and other people. And then they want to play at the recess time. They want to enjoy lunch together. So these are the things basically which are the source of excitement, and children love to go to the school. They don't necessarily feel that they have to go to school because they need to learn the math or science or this or that, and otherwise they will remain behind. So, but they learn how to make friends, how to keep friendships, and how to deal with the people of their age. And this is how they grow up. Most of the people, they pick their good friends through their school, college, university, and then later on at workplace. And this process or this system continues. Having friends, having the ability to making the friends is very important, my brothers and sisters. That is why some of us, we receive sometime concerns from the teachers of our children, that our children are not very much social, or they are not very much mingling with other children. They are not making friends. They are not very much kind of showing interest in being with other kids. They are kind of lonely, or they drag feet, or meaning these are the concerns. Sometimes even when my children, they came here new from Iran and they went to the school, they were trained in a different culture. So for some time they were shy, and so many parents came to me also with the same concern that Maulana, this is what our children are going through, or our teachers of our children are telling us, and what should we do? So I am aware that this is an issue, that sometimes school, the teachers, they are very much observant of this. They observe that whether this child is normal, is social, it is outgoing, involved, or is lonely and is a kind of behind. Then later on comes the real life. And in real life also, we need friends. This skill and ability is in our nature. Allah has put it in our fitrah, that we are human beings and we should have this urge, this desire of having friends and ability to make friends. And then, more important thing is keeping friends. Making friends is not that difficult. Then keeping the friends for a longer period of time, that is a real challenge. Sustaining, retaining. And time comes in our life that when we start feeling that we are very lonely and we don't have many friends. There are many people that who don't have many friends, particularly in this day and age, in this part of the world, for a variety of reasons. We lost those friends of our school age because we moved to different country. And in new places, as a mature people, making friends, while you have so many other pressures, family and job and all that, is difficult. But I know people come to me, and sometimes their children come to me. We have counselings. Sometimes there are issues in families that parents come to us and sometimes kids come to us. And one of the things which they say that our parents don't invite anyone at our home. And we never get invited anywhere. Life is boring. Nobody invites us. We are not invited in weddings. We are not invited in walimas. We are not invited in birthday parties. Nobody cares about us. And our parents also don't invite anyone. They don't go anywhere. We are only 4 people, 5 people, 6 people sitting boring at home. Nowhere to go. So that is the concern. Even children have these complaints about their parents. Parents also, who are normally well-to-do, they are in their routine, they are working, they are earning money, they are living their life. Most of the time they feel they are doing okay, they don't need any friend. But when they are excited, we always need friends, but at 2 times we need these friends badly. One, when we are excited, when we achieve something, when we succeed in something, when we have something, now we want to have some friends to celebrate with them. We want to tell them that I got something. And we want to share the joy. And we want to have someone who should give us some credit, who should praise us, who should acknowledge us, who should tell us that yes, we did something and we have some worth. So when we succeed, when we have something, in excitement we are looking for friends to have party. Or, God forbid, when we get into some difficult times, then we need a shoulder to shed the tears. We need someone to at least tell whatever we have the pressure on our head. All of us, we go through these things. Sometimes we are feeling what you call down, depressed. We have some bad experiences in life. And then we need someone sincere that we can talk. And because people don't have those people, now they pay to psychiatrists or these psychologists and these therapists per hour and go and just speak and tell them all the stories, what they have. And they talk all about against their husband or wife or their children or siblings or their neighbor or co-worker or somebody, and they just want to talk. Something which back home, every individual is listening those stories without charging any money. But here you have to pay someone to listen your story. On these 2 times, many of us, we look around, and unfortunately again, in this day and age, many people don't have those shoulders. They don't have those kind of people who have time, willingness to listen somebody's story and then be a good listener and have the credibility that people don't fear when they tell their private, because at that time people tell everything, their secrets and their whatever they feel about other people and everything. But they need again credible people that who can keep this amanat. So I just mentioned this as a tamheed, as an introduction, the need of friend, need of companion, need of those people around us. That is our natural need, my brothers and sisters. But then what happens? As Amirul Mu'mineen says, and it is in Nahjul Balagha, he says the weakest person is the one a'jazun nas man ajaza an kasbil ikhwan. The most unable person. If you want to call somebody disabled, this is a disability, that he or she can't make friends. But then Amirul Mu'mineen says, وَأَعْجَزُ مِنْهُ مَنْ كَانَ لَهُ وَضَيَّأَهُ. Amirul Mu'mineen says, and more disabled person is the one that who had some friends and then he lost. He is even more disabled person. That he had a few friends here and there, but then he lost. So the idea of having friends, making friends, keeping friends. Friends, my brothers and sisters, are treasures. Those are treasures. And you fly with, and those are your wings, those are your eyes, those are your tongues, those are your hands. Remember, now you can imagine that you have 100, Allah has given you only 2 hands, but you can have 100 hands. You can have 500 hands. You can have 1,000 hands. If those friends are sincere friends and they are like brothers, friends like brothers, then their hands are also working for you whenever you need them. And you don't then have only 2 eyes to look. You have 1,000 eyes to look from every angle. This is how a friend is supposed to be. Sometimes we can't see, but your friend can see. Because of his age, his experience, his background, can see something which you can't see at the excitement or when you are down. Then this other friend can see and can tell you, brother, the decision which you are making is not right. I have tried it. I have experience. I have seen people doing this. You can speak only with one tongue. How much you can speak? For your cause, for your mission, for yourself, for your right. But if you have 1,000 tongues in community to defend you, to talk about you, to praise you, to support you, you have 1,000 tongues. So the issue is, my brothers and sisters, that these friends, brother-like friends, sister-like friends, they are treasures. Now, how to keep them? I did all that to explain this background. Imam were used to say one sentence and their audience were able to pick it. Now I am reading for you the saying of Imam. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam is basically giving us a secret, because he knows people can't keep their friends. They make friends, but then they lose them, or they cannot make their friends. So Imam is giving a formula for making the friends and then keeping the friends. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam says, Man kana al-wara'u, sajiyatuhu, wal karamu, tabi'atuhu, wal hilmu, khullatuhu, kathra sadiquhu. Sadiq in Arabic is friend. That real friend, the true friend. Imam says there are 3 things. You must have 3 things. If you have these 3 things, you will make the friends and you will keep the friends. What are those 3 things? Number 1, he says, wara. Wara is literally, it means the highest level of taqwa. But it means the character. It means that you are a person who is God-fearing. And when you are God-fearing and when you are a person of taqwa, so your friend will not receive any bad behavior or any bad, for example, action or reaction from your side. Because you are a person of taqwa, you are never going to steal anything from him, you are never going to take advantage of him, you are not going to do anything which is against his interests, you are not going to, for example, if he invites you at his home, so he is at peace. He doesn't have to worry that now a mahram man is sitting at my home, and whether I should go out to pick something from the grocery store or whether I should go out, he has his wife, he has his young daughters, he has people, namus at home, so he is at ease. You can go anytime to his home, he doesn't have to worry about. He can give you the keys of his home and be at ease because you are a person of taqwa, wara, trust. So that is number one. The second thing, wal karam tabi'atuhu. And then you are a person that who is noble, who is generous, who is helpful, who is kind. You are kareem. You are a noble person. Always you have the upper hand. You don't have the lower hand. You are always giving, helping, extending your hand, extending your help, your experience. You are kind, you are noble, generous. The last thing is wal hilm. And then you are a person that who can show the forbearance, because friendships or relationships always get into trouble when people cannot tolerate. So the most important thing which helps people to retain their friends, keep their relationships, whether they are husband, wife, whether they are siblings, whether they are partners in business or friends, is that if you can tolerate the shortcomings of each other. If you are not a person that who gets offended right away for little things, you don't react. You know that the brother has today, maybe he had bad day. Maybe he is not feeling well. Maybe she is not feeling well. Maybe had bad day at work. Maybe there are some reasons. Maybe there is some misunderstanding. So being kind and forgiving and forbearing, and a person that who has that much control on himself will be able to keep the friends, keep the relationships. We are out of time. Otherwise, I would explain the opposite of three also. That if you have those three, then you are really in trouble. You won't be able to make friends. You won't be able to keep the friends. Just flip side. Look at the flip side. If it is taqwa, the other side. Then if it is karam, generosity, kindness, friendliness, then look into the other side. Mean. A person that who is always with you, but when you need him, sorry, I can't help you. So, how long you can keep those kind of friends? That who are always with you, but when you need them, you don't find them. Or those friends that who are always friends as long as everything is fine. But when you get mad, when you get emotional, when you offend them, when you sometimes disappoint them, when sometimes you do something wrong against them, instead of remaining kind and giving you the benefit of doubt or being tolerant or tolerant, they react right away and cut away and say, nice knowing you, and start reacting right away on each and everything. Those friendships and those relations don't go anywhere. So that is a very practical lesson, very needed lesson, very important lesson, my brothers and sisters, which I try to bring here for all of us. All of us, we need this. We need friends, we need associates, we need relationships, we need peace at home, we need peace in our friends, and we need peace in community. And we can have only if we listen to these words of wisdom of our Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. Recite the salawat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. صلى الله أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحليم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين علي بن أبي طالب وعلى سيدة نساء العالمين فاطمة الزهراء وعلى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة وعلى علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي. اللهم صل على مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان صلوات صل على وعلى آبائه الكرام واتصل الليالي والأيام. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. صلوات. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة